Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ted Morris here for Real Pet Tips, and today I'd like to talk to you about ticks. Now, ticks are starting to become more of a problem than they ever used to be. They're spreading into new areas, they're just hitching rides on birds, and they're showing up in neighborhoods that never used to have them. I know where I work, we're starting to see a lot more ticks than we ever used to. Now, why do we care about your dog having ticks? Like, having a tick on your dog is not the end of the world. It's kind of gross and kind of creepy, and it definitely freaks a lot of my clients out, but just having a tick is not a big problem. They will feed for a week or so and then drop off, and a lot of people may not even notice that their dog had them in the first place. What we do get concerned about are the infections that those ticks are carrying. Just like with humans, dogs can get Lyme disease from ticks. And there are a couple of other illnesses that they'll pick up as well that depends on the area that you live in. Rocky Mountain spotted fever is a big one, anaplasmosis is a big one, and around the world there's all kinds of illnesses that are carried by ticks. Now, where is your dog most likely to pick ticks up? If you're a little city dog, you live in a condo, and you only ever touch the sidewalk, your chances of getting a tick are pretty small. But if your dog likes to go for walks through long grass or wooded areas, that's where the ticks are hanging out. They like to be where there's lots of wildlife, because as they grow through their life cycles, they sort of move from small animals like a mouse and then gradually will graduate up to your dog or you. The same ticks that will eat your dog will quite happily feast on you as well. So after you've been in one of these areas, just give your dog a once over and see if you can actually find any ticks on them. It's a bit of a challenge because they're pretty tiny, and if your dog doesn't have a reaction to the tick bite, and that'll kind of look like a rash, sometimes it's described as a bullseye, you might not be able to find them right away. After the ticks have fed for a couple of days, their little bodies just fill up with blood, and they're a lot easier to find at that point. And generally, that's when my clients find them and bring their dogs in for me to pull those ticks off. Now, taking a tick off your dog is a little bit fiddly because the ticks basically stick their head into your dog's skin. And if you just yank at the body, you're gonna leave the head behind. And that's usually what leads to an infection. So if you're pulling a tick off, you have to do it really gently. You can get a tick puller at a lot of hardware stores that actually makes the job really easily. Or sometimes a little bit of rubbing alcohol put on the tick will sort of encourage it to pull its head out and drop off. If you do happen to pull it off and leave the head behind, just keep an eye on the area for any signs of an infection. The swelling should kind of come down within a day or two, and if it's not, or if it's looking crusty or sore, definitely go into your vet and have them check it out to make sure your dog's gonna be okay. Now, how do we stop these ticks from jumping on your dog in the first place? Well, luckily there's a lot of tick preventives that are out there on the market, and some older ones like tick collars that still do a reasonable job. There's some spot-ons, basically these topical insecticides that you put on your dog, and there are some newer products like pills, which personally I love because I hate putting greasy stuff on my dog. The reason I recommend people use a tick preventive rather than just wait until they notice the ticks and remove them at that point is you really want something that's going to stop the ticks from feeding quickly. It takes about 24 hours of a tick attached to your dog and feasting on them to transmit a lot of those tick-borne diseases. So if you don't notice that that tick's there until it's been there for 3 or 4 days, the risk of your dog picking up one of those illnesses definitely rises. So I want those ticks off your dog as quickly as possible. If you like this video and want to see more content like it, don't forget to subscribe, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and visit realpettips.com.